As promised, it's Christmas Eve, and I finished my retelling of A Christmas Carol, my reimagining. And since I am submitting this story to a Christmas anthology, I'm just going to read a little bit for you guys here. Just a little exclusive. And here we go, shall we? Ah Humbug, by yours truly, Simon Johnson. Stave 1. A miserable Christmas Eve. Liberty had perished. It was an absolute, and little doubt could be given upon that. The moment the President had taken his oath, everything had been certified as tangible as the death certificate of freedom's undoing. It had been affirmed and stamped with official government authority, and with it the ability to do whatsoever he wished instantly became that of President Thrum. Mind you, I say not all of this in my own observation, but with the evidence of cabinetry stacked before me, I've no choice but to recognize what is for what it is, and perhaps that is what you too shall be left to do. Such circumstances are not ones we hope to find ourselves, but I digress. What we hope for is often the insanity that keeps us cycling through and believing somehow, someday, something might change. But President Thrum was aware of the death of liberty, and it seemed that was precisely what he wanted. It was strange to witness, because liberty had been the very thing he claimed to stand for and had granted him such a strong following. You would have assumed that his loyalty to his cause would be steadfast, but perhaps this was merely a masking to accomplish his endeavor. Perhaps we had been fooled all along to think President Thrum would concern himself with anything or anyone other than himself. Repugnant as it was, President Thrum held no remorse for any of his decisions. Even on the day of expected inauguration, his respect for tradition seemed absent. He avoided signing any ethical agreement so that no oath to uphold goodness could ever loophole in. It having been boisterously windy day, with snow pelting into his face, President Thrum still held an arrogant smirk as he addressed me in short. "Cardenas, you are too slow. I do not know why you had no awning before me. I should have never suffered a chapped nose from such cold," President Thrum remarked, and with a tight fist slammed his hand upon the desk with a sudden and loud force. It was Christmas Eve, and the President had hopes to sign several execution orders, and felt overdue with time. "Bah," he declared, "this is a bug." "Christmas Eve's a bug, Mr. President? You can't mean that. We could close up shop on this and come back," Cardenas remarked, hoping that urgency would settle into his heart. President Thrum, however, merely groaned at his words. "Cardenas, I've never heard anything more absurd." "Well, Mr. President, it could be a Merry Christmas, you know, sitting around this fire, smiling, faces aglow." "A Merry Christmas, you say? Ha! But haven't you heard of the poor, needy and wanting, begging some more?" "Oh, but Mr. President, surely you know time spent with family and joy and contentment are worth more than the show. There's plenty to be happy for and much to appreciate. Surely you got something that makes you smile of late," Cardenas remarked, perking an eyebrow, but President Thrum let out a groan and instantly bore a scowl. "The only thing that appeases me is golfing and wine, anything that makes me feel better. And now, Mr. President, listen here. Maybe we should quit while we're ahead and go out and get some gear," Cardenas suggested, helpful and steadily, but again President Thrum simply shook his head. "You are here to work and I am here to lead. Can't you see there's no time for petulance and celebration on this night? You have your Christmas, but carry it out of my sight, and I'll relish my position as one of my festivities, however I please, and all of your problems this should be the least of these." Cardenas pursed his lips, seemingly unsure of what to say, but out came some words, simple in their way. "President Thrum, you are not celebrating, you are here commiserating. Surely there's something better you can do. After all, it's Christmas Eve, and nearly everything is closed. Tell me, what is it you wish to accomplish while everything else is froze?" "Cardenas, you know, annoy me. I'm losing my patience, can't you see? I've got you here for a purpose, and it's not to bug. President Thrum, I can perceive that many things are not going your way, and I have presented here to assist you just hours before Christmas Day. You say I am annoying, but the aggravation is what I see. What is it exactly that you want from me?" "I don't want to hear your lecture, and I don't want to be ran around. I want to accomplish going through the stack of papers that is starting to fall to the ground," President Thrum stated sternly and with little emotion at all. Cardenas, however, didn't seem to care, as he stood in place staring back at him with what seemed to be a glare. "President Thrum, I too want more than an argument. A life where I can enjoy the holiday with merriment and fun would be great to imagine, but it seems you give this to no one. I'm not sure what is going on deep inside your mind, but you know life could be much better if you were not bitter all the time." Cardenas closed his mouth then, and President Trump was clearly mad, but the worst part about it was how it made Cardenas sad. To look upon this person with so much power in anything he chose to do, and see that he was cruel and thoughtless about others was more than he could. I care not to hear your beautiful statements. As I said, I brought you here to work. Now get to stacking those documents before you no longer have a job. You seem to have forgotten your role here is to be a secretarial knob. Now get to work and shut your mouth. There's much left for you to do, and if you want out of here for any Christmas celebration, you'll get to moving now too. Stave 2. A Spectre of Christmas Past. President Trump, in an effort to remove himself in an act of avoidance, fled the office with a look of pure annoyance. His boots crunched the snow as he moved toward his car, and loudly he hollered to his driver, "Hurry up, let's get out of here now. Move it, I need to get far." He approached the door and his chauffeur gave a worried nod, moving to open the door lest he called him a sod. So used to vocalizations about his lack of worth, the driver knew better than to make a fuss as he watched President Trump blop into his seat, and promptly he drew in both feet. "Yes, Mr. President, no worries, I'll drive quick. Just watch, in a few moments you'll be removed from this place that's giving you the it." "Shush it now, get in the driver's seat. I've no desire to listen to you flapping your gums. I want to get home and away from these slums." President Trump gave a huff as the chauffeur shut the door, and as soon enough they were off as his foot smashed the gas pedal to the floor. Moments later they arrived straight to the door of Trump's house, and opening the door, the driver was quiet as a mouse. "That will be all. You may go. I've no more need to see your face, and I'm eager to get in to watch a show. Have a good evening, Mr. President, and I pray you sleep well, and enjoy a Christmas of joy full of everything sweet." With the chauffeur sent off, the president once again let out a scoff, and irritated as can be, he headed inside to see what he could. A drafty cold wind blew in when he entered, and President Trump did visibly tremble. "Why is it so cold in this drafty old place? You'd think with my income I could keep some warmth in this space." And feeling a bit tired, President Trump opted to go warm himself in bed, certain that if he kept freezing as he might end up dead. Now, resting so soundly, President Trump was curled up in his bed, but something went thump, and he lifted his head. "What is that?" He looked around, hearing something squeaking on the ground. It crept even closer, but his eyes spotted now, and pulling the blanket to his chin, he called out again, "Stop! Who are you? What do you want?" A strange face, unknown but yet familiar, suddenly popped up before President Trump, and with it, alarmingly, he rose to hit his head upon the bed with a loud and obnoxious bump. "I am the ghost of Christmas past, here to remind you of who you once were at last." The hollowed face of a woman with deep-set eyes and a look of pure sadness came face to face with him, causing goosebumps to break out upon his skin, and terror crept up to seize his whole heart as the ghost reached for him, clearly eager to start. "No, no, this is a dream. It cannot be real. Surely I am still sleeping. Let me rest and be still." The cracking of President Trump's voice then did nothing to dispel the spirit, and soon enough he felt a jerking on his pajamas, and was pulled right from the bed, thrust into the air as the ghost clutched upon his wrist, and flying through the night sky he felt a shiver from the wintry blend, but the ghost just kept going until a simple house with a tiny window seemed to solidify, and the ghost began to descend. Only then did President Trump begin to rake it all in. "What is this, my childhood home? Why have you brought me here? I don't understand. You watch through the window and soon you will see how somehow you've lost touch with your own humanity." Directed by the ghost, President Trump leaned in to see, and as he watched before him played out an old scene. It was the president seated some 40 years prior, with his former wife and children all playing by the fire. With a kind and gentle smile, the president held his daughter on his knee, and something about him seemed happy in the midst of family. This is a time that does not exist, and that child has grown from a sweet young miss to a mother and a wife. I've no time for this now. I've got a country to run, and the time for fun and memories is behind me. I've got more pressing things to do. The last thing I want is for the poor to deplete my legacy. I've grown beyond these kinds of mushy things, and priorities are elsewhere. Besides, I need to stack finances in order to ensure power remains. Now take me from this place. I've seen more than enough. I care not to waste my sleep yearning for what matters not, like an evaporating puff. And that is halfway through this second stave. There are 5 total staves, and we only got 30 seconds left on this video, so I am going to go ahead and cut that one off and probably do a part 2. See you at part 2.